What are you watching these days, Everton?
Oh, geez, I watched way too much.
Oh,
I'm
really?
like this is where it's taking up my time, right? And it's the like, oh boy, so just so easy to dive into one. Like right now, I'm watching the Twilight of the Gods, which is a Zack Snyder just came out on Netflix. Zack Snyder animated story, like a retake on Norse gods, which I have some interest
Cool.
in the mythology and everything. So it's quite.
You must be part Viking yourself, having grown up where
I'm
you did.
pretty sure there's some Viking in there. Also, like I'm Scottish and English, and the bloodlines run thick through all of. Basically, they supplanted them. So yeah, no, but there's definitely those. It definitely resonates. There's a great storytelling in there. That's where I'm getting to with like away from the reading. Part of it is that I read so much every day in my job. Like I read reams and reams of email and communications and all these mundane things all day long that my brain's just tired of reading at the end of the day. So I don't
Totally get that.
want to read as much. Although now that I have this Kindle, I'm loving it.
Oh,
I didn't think I would. I was always a paper book guy, but my eyes suck now, and
You
I'm able
can
to
like
increase the
really,
font.
yeah, which is
mm,
nice because you don't
Uh,
have to look for books that have like the bigger font. You can just do it
exactly.
yourself on any
Yep.
book.
Yeah, it's perfect. And I can
so
put in
portable.
the open dyslexic font, which I'm not sure I'm a little bit dyslexic, but there's something going on. And the ADHD stuff, I can set it to a way that makes me, be able to read better.
What
Uh,
does it? What do you mean? What does it do?
oh, it's just like so. Open dyslexic is a specific type of font that
Oh,
Oh,
makes
looks like
you
when you copy something from like a Japanese
sort
thing.
of. It's the letters are all weighted in a way that your eye's less likely to lose it, and you're able to keep
That's
track
so
quicker,
cool.
so you don't mess up as bad. And
Oh,
so I like that quite a lot.
that's great.
I never
Yeah.
even
Yep.
heard about that.
So I'm gonna keep on using. I tried the yeah, maybe I'll read a bit more. I tried
Mm.
the Kobo and it was good, but not as good. This is really fantastic, to be honest with you.
Do you ever do like audiobooks? Is that something that you've
I
like dabbled in?
I haven't as much. Um, But I did do one when I was in Newfoundland recently. When I was driving, Karen came up with us, and we went to. She was up for a few days, and I had to drive her back to come here to work in the clinic. So I drove her to Deer Lake. She flew back, and on the way back it was just me in the car. So I put on an audiobook, and I really enjoyed it actually.
Mm. Yeah, when it's good, it's good. The thing about you were talking about storytelling, even in like TV shows and stuff, we've been having a little bit of a debate with the kids because we're those parents who really limit screen time.
Hmm.
And so like they have to decide, like you have an hour a day, are you going to use it to play Candy Crush or are you going to use it to watch a movie or like what are you going to do here? And Violet's kind of digging in her heels. She's like, if I'm watching a movie, like and there are lots of good movies for her age group. She's like, why is it that I only get an hour to do that when Douglas can literally crush candy for an hour and like probably kill brain cells instead
Hmm.
of develop them? Like,
Every
screen
candy's a brain
time
cell.
is like not what it used to be, right? So
I yeah, I don't. I tend to agree with Violet. I think that
that's the way it usually ends up.
I like. I mean, it's just where I am on it. To be honest, I think that the idea of not watching, like restricting access to quality storytelling. Like, there's so much garbage too, right?
Yeah.
But same as there is in literature, there's garbage there too. And that there used to be a time when reading was considered wasted time on screen time, right? Like it wasn't always seen the way it is now.
Hmm.
It was seen as a waste of time, and like it's for those louts who have like pensions and stuff from the king, and that like
Yes.
that's who was doing it.
Mhm.
So it's changed. I think that the good storytelling, like if I were starting out right now, um, as in my 20s, early or like going to school, if I was going to focus on anything creative, it'd be on screenwriting and trying to do that for TV, and that's
Mm.
sort of still a dream of mine. I
Yeah.
like the writing part of it, and I like that transferring over to an image and to and that whole project. I think
There's
would be
more to
cool.
read in some ways too. Like, you're reading the scene, you're reading the angles. I say this, I watch so little TV. Like, I'm like,
Yeah,
you're reading the camera work as someone who's watched The Office exclusively for the
that's
last
right.
10 years. It's like my only reference point.
I totally get that though, Everton. Like I find the idea of like screenwriting, like quality, like we're talking like
Yep.
prestige television, like
Yep.
kind of projects, and I find the whole process really fascinating. Like the idea of like a people sitting in a room or people writing. And like so even from like the screenplay all the way to like a writer's room with people sitting around and trying to come up with like how are we going to tell the story and what are the creative choices that we're making, and like there's some things out there that are so profound when you
Yep.
watch them, and I just think like how beautiful to have been a person to have worked on that particular process and project,
Yep.
like and I listen to a lot of podcasts and talking about that kind of thing, and I just
Yep.
yeah, to work on something like that seems like
Yeah.
the best thing ever.
I do feel that way too. Although I will say when I was reading this collection again, when I got to the end of each story, and I was like, okay, could that be reproduced on TV
Yeah.
and hit me the same way? Most of them can't. Like
Mm.
there's things it does well, there's things it doesn't do as well, and um, so there's definitely room still for the reading piece of it. So I'm half joking when I say I don't have time. It mainly is I think I'm just tired of reading at the end of the day most days.